So I wanted to do just a quick, about 3 weeks ago, we sent out a pre-survey just to kind of get a sense from the group on what your thoughts were. And so when we did that, what we found was that the number one thing that the individuals who completed it said that they wanted out of today is how to engage employees to reach their highest potential. And the one thing I think is great about this group is that's what you said. Because normally the number one thing that comes out is how do we address our low performers. And the number one thing you have to do to address low performers is engage all the others. So congratulations to the group of saying we want to do that first so that we can then address those low performance issues. I wanted to start just with an overview of kind of what we stand for, what Robin and I, along with Studer Group and talking with Quint from time to time, and what we stand for and what we do in our work with schools every day. And that is, it's pretty simple. And we believe what the research really tells us. And I've put it into a very simple 3 boxes. The first is that, well, at the center of that, we all are after one thing, and that is to get the highest student achievement that we possibly can. Kind of interesting with student achievement, the solutions and best practices really haven't changed that much. Although there are new things that come out time and over and over and over again, if we go back to the essentials, it's not that different than what we know in terms of how kids learn. And to me, the best study that's come out in a long time is John Hattie's meta-analysis. It came out and basically told us 2 things. Or here's my summary of the 2 things I learned from it. Number 1, kids set expectations when they walk into a room, but they're usually not as high as they should be. And unless we as teachers do something to help them move those expectations up, they're only going to achieve to the place that's in their mind. So that's the number 1 job of a teacher. Number 2, through that process of communication to the young person in terms of how they're doing, it's that 2-way communication, not just the teacher providing that input, but that individual student providing feedback back to the teacher to say to the teacher, I understand what it is that I'm expected to do in order to move there, and this is what it means to me. So if we're going in classrooms, to me, and when we go in and we observe in classrooms, those are the first 2 things I'm looking at. Are teachers doing those 2 things? Because if they're not, they're missing the essentials. So there might be 68 other things that they're being evaluated on, but if we miss those 2, then we've missed a lot. So that's student achievement, and all I'm to say is that's nothing new. Okay? Nothing new at all. But what we have to do in order to move student achievement is make sure that our employees are engaged every day. Because it's hard to move student achievement if people aren't coming to work and they're satisfied. So that what we have come in from the leadership standpoint is really focusing on employee engagement. We've been about student achievement for a long time, but we've realized that as a leader, if we're not engaging employees, then it's really going to be hard to move student achievement. And I think you'll hear some examples of that today from the presentation. And then the last thing, which is kind of odd, I think, from the way that we stand with parent satisfaction. We think that if we engage employees, we get better student achievement, and then our parents are more satisfied. And we believe that parent satisfaction is important, essential, and mandatory. Because if one day, like what we heard in healthcare, if the healthcare value-based purchasing comes into education, we're going to be sitting there where parents are going to be choosing anywhere that their child wants to go to school. And at that point, so I think of it as if we turn the dollars over to the parents and the parents made a choice, then our client is really the parents, because it's going to be the parents who are really choosing. Okay? So it's just thinking of it that way, making us move to that. So that's really what we, evidence-based leadership,